up-to-date information and insights into various aspects of business and finance. We engage in insightful discussions with local and international business leaders, economists, entrepreneurs, and other professionals. Join Love FM 105.1 and Love TV Live this and every Saturday from 2 to 3:30 p.m. for the program Business Talk. Gain valuable insights into the world of business as we profile successful Liberian entrepreneurs in and out of Liberia as they provide business strategies, entrepreneurship, and financial planning. Business Talk, your one-stop shop in the world of business. It's on Love FM 105.1 every Saturdays, 2 to 3:30 p.m. Don't miss out. Indeed, there's no time to miss out because Business Talk is that platform that sets the agenda and give you an insight of what business is and what you need to do, giving you the do's and don'ts. For some people have gotten involved with business and they did not know how it should be or what it is, but they got into it because they have the love for it, but they made some steps and it's actually getting them frustrated. But get to understand, Business Talk sets the agenda. Business Talk is there to educate you. Business Talk is there to give you an insight of what business is all about. So on this program, we have our panelists, my co-pilots, Alvar Tupa. Alvar will shortly join us. We also have Mr. Alkin Phillips. Both are in the US. Will join me. My name is Rufus Divine Cannon. I'm pretty seated this lovely Saturday afternoon, the 17th day of May. Of course, the year remains the same, 2025. So jointly, we're going to be discussing this very important topic that has to do with double dealing in the sales of land in Liberia. And it will interest you to know that this is one of the serious problems that we are faced with in Liberia. You buy a land. Most of our friends in the diaspora bought their land before leaving from here. Some of them, while they are on that side, they trusted people to get for them land or the land. But it will interest you to know that after the buying of the land, you try to put your project, or some want to wait a little bit before getting the project started. As soon as you go on the land, somebody say, "Oh, that my land. Oh, I finished purchasing that land, and that land I purchased the land since Chadekin time." But it interests you to know that there is an institution from government angle that is responsible for land in Liberia. The Liberia Land Authority is actually the body that is clubbed with the responsibility to overshadow all of the things that has to do with sale of land, maintenance of land, who can buy our land, who can access our land, or whatever it is. So to be a part of this important conversation, to give us a detailed analysis, and for those of you who don't know your way out as it relates to your situation you are faced with, you bought a land and this land has a very serious problem. The person who you bought the land from, way there, your mom bought that land. She turned it over to you. Now, the both parties are now alive. So the estate been taken over by the children of that person who sold the land to you. And the children are now double dealing. They are selling land that the parents have already sold. All these things are problems. So I've been joined by my co-pilot, Mr. Alkin Phillips. Mr. Phillips, how you doing?
Good morning, Rufus. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all the listeners out there, Facebook, Radio Land, across Monrovia, across Magidi, Bomi County. Good morning or good afternoon to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here once again. I've been absent for a couple of weeks, but I'm back on the show. And indeed, Rufus, this is a very, very important topic, especially as it relates to business, as it relates to Liberians in the diaspora who are looking to invest, return, come back home to do business, to invest in real estate, acquiring properties in different parts of the country, to put up their retirement home, to put up, like you call it in Liberia, a project, be it a resort, be it a guest house where they want to live out the rest of their lives. This is a very, very critical topic. A lot of people have fallen victim in so many ways. And I think it is so appropriate that we discuss this in this open forum today, because this is something that really, really affects not only Liberians at home, but those Liberians at home who are basically working as intermediaries to their loved ones, brothers, sisters, whatever it is in the U.S., in the diaspora, who are, serving as the go-between. You understand my point? Who are serving as the go-between to acquire property, to acquire land, and to make an investment. And that is a substantial investment. Most times, it's in excess of $5,000, $10,000. And then, you come to find out that you basically, bought a pig in the bag and you never saw the pig and something was shaking in the bag and you bought it. And now you carried it all the way across and you open it up and there's a little rat that had, a bunch of things tied onto it to make it appear to be big. So I think it's a great topic for us to discuss today. So let's give it a couple of minutes so more people can join the program today, so that more people can share it. Jackson Pony, thank you for joining the show. Please share the link, share the live broadcast. We're talking about land, investing in land, buying land in Liberia, the problems, the issues, the opportunities, and then also all of the schemes. The 419 and all of those type of things. Don't get caught in it. Don't lose your money as a result of trying to bypass, do a quick deal, and then you end up being exploited or taken advantage of. So let's just give it a couple of minutes here so that more people can come on the show and we can share the link. I'm going to do that here for a couple of minutes, and then you can talk about a couple of other points before we get our other people onto the show. Okay.
Yeah, we to join us in the conversation, we've also getting a signal from the Director of Communication and Outreach there at the Liberia Land Authority. He has given his word to join us as soon as we place a call to him via the telephone. He will actually join us and give us some insight of what the authority is doing in terms of what we are discussing relative to the land issue, because it is very important. The last time, some part of last month, I went to actually check on a friend's land, and it was a very serious issue wherein she bought the land initially from a family, and this family sold the land to her, but only to find out the two families, they have adjoining properties. So this lady have placed her house, a very big house, on that land. Nearing completion, the opposite family came out to say, look, the land that you build your house on is ours, so you need to rebuy the land. so you need to rebuy the land. So there where they are now, negotiating. The person who initially sold the land is not around, cannot be found at the moment. So that's the troubling situation right now. And not just that person, there are other people with similar problems where parents sold land to a particular family, and the parent who sold the land died and left behind the children. The children have taken over the estate, and they are now selling or reselling lands that have already been sold by their parents.
Yeah.
You find that all over the place. The Puebline, the Johnsonville, the Ramosville High, where you just go about martial areas. Those are all areas that you find these kinds of situations. So we'll place a call. Should we place a call to Mr. Tete, so
No,
that he?
let's give it up. Let's give it 3 more minutes at 9:15. You can send him a text and let him know that we'll start off at 9:15. Let's just give it a couple of minutes here. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
friends, listeners, please share the show on whatever platform you are. Share the show on your Facebook page. This is a very, very big topic. This is a very, very big topic. Buying land in Liberia for investment. You're coming from the diaspora, you're going home, you're looking to take your 30, 40, 50, $60,000 that you work hard for in the US, save it up in your 401k plan, in your bank account, you sold your house, you're taking the equity, you're going home, and you're looking to buy land. Like Rufus said, anywhere across Monrovia, Marshall, Dwazon, going out to Ricks, wherever it is. Are you going about it the right way? Are you doing it the right way? Because if you don't do it the right way, you're going to be exploited. You will be taken advantage of, and you will end up losing your money. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's a guarantee. If you don't go about it the right way, you will be exploited. You will be taken advantage of, and you will lose your money. So the key entity that whose responsibility it is, whose policy it is, whose directive it is to oversee land issues. So you want to, if you're looking to invest, this is a show that you want to listen to today. You want to share with your friends if you're in Liberia and you know that your friend, loved one in the diaspora is looking to buy land. You want to share this show on your platform, on your Facebook page, by WhatsApp, whatever way you want to, so that you can hear it directly today from the mouth of the person who has responsibility, oversight, who's part of that government entity that has responsibility for that directive to get that done and get it done in the right way. So that when you're investing in Liberia, short-term, medium-term, long-term, in buying land, you do it the right way. You make sure you go through the right government agencies, make sure you get the right paperwork, and don't let anyone take advantage of you, exploit you, and manipulate you to say, hey, this is a good deal. You might want, if you wait too long, you will lose it. And then you end up losing your money and taken advantage of, and you're 5,000 miles away in the US, and you cannot buy a ticket, jump on the plane, and go there. And the next thing you know, the person's throwing a SIM card away. You can't reach them. You can't contact them. So let's get on the let's get right into it. So Rufus, let's take it away. So the show is about to start, and you can introduce our guest. So the topic for today is buying land in Liberia to invest, buying land across Liberia for investment, doing it the right way, doing it the correct way, going through the right channels, knowing and understanding that the government of Liberia does have a government agency whose responsibility it is to oversee and to manage all of the aspects of land ownership, procurement, so forth and so on. So I will let the person come on the phone, join the show, explain, educate, inform, and enlighten all of us on how to go about this the right way. Rufus, you can bring on the guests.
So we will give an overview of the Liberia Land Authority. Then we bring him on with all of his portfolios and all stuff like that. Yeah, so let me give a clearer understanding to the public or the listening audience of what the Land Authority is all about. This is an overview. The Liberia Land Authority, the LLA, is a product of the policy, legal, and institutional reform of the land sector of Liberia, led by the Ex-Royal Land Commission, the LLA, established by an act of the National Legislature on October 6, 2016 as an autonomous agency of the government with operational independence. Subsumes land functions that were performed by several agencies of the government, including the key land administration agencies, Department of Land, Survey and Cartographic of the former Ministry of Lands, Mines and Energy, now the Ministry of Mines and Energy, the Deeds and Title Registry of the Central for National Documents Records Agency, the CNDRA, and functions of county land commissioners from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. As the one-stop shop for land matters in Liberia, the IT provides LLA with three key functions, which are summarized below. Land governance function includes the control and management in the interest of equitable development, access to and use of public and government land except for reserves, protected areas, proposed protected areas, and diplomatic missions. Land administration functions include administering the deeds registry and lands registry system, establishing standards and regulating surveys and mapping services, administering public survey and mapping services, and the national cadastral promoting and regulating the proper development of private surveying profession, and therefore under no condition shall a surveyor or other staff of the authority engaged in the survey of private land or in the survey of commercial land in a private capacity, valley land and building for the authority's land registry system, implement programs in support of property rights, including those of customary land owning communities, and adjudicate disputes arising in context of systematic land registration. And lastly, land use and management functions include to promote, support, and ensure the development of land use management, place, plans, and zoning schemes and their implementation through counties, districts, and other local government structures. So this body is headed by Mr. Stanley N. Toh. He's the executive director. So with all much I do, we are placing call now to the man in charge of information dissemination. He's no other than Mr. Kwashi Tete, Director of Communication and Outreach there at the Liberia Land Authority. So we are now placing call to him to give us details as it relates to their workings, like we briefly gave you concerning those things that matters, because stealing and all inside the thing they call land. Yeah, then people can see the friendly land and people encroaching on government land. You see the alley, you build on the alley, and you say government ain't ready for development yet. All those things, and you see government is also carrying on demolition exercises. You look at yourself, you put your good structure on a land that is not yours because you see the place looking at that. You see, oh, they are free land here. You put some kind of good structure there, and at the end of it, or government get ready to build or do some development in that area. Come on, you at the last end, and you say government will compensate you, and government compensating you, Lehana. You know very well this place is not yours, and it's not the right place for you to build.
It's not the right place, and you know, I just put the I put it in the private chat. If you can copy it and put it in the public chat for everybody, the website for the Liberia Land Authority, the LLA.gov.lr. So for those in the U.S., those who are listening, like the government of Liberia does have a land authority, and you can visit the website at http.
Okay. We now have Mr. Tete on the line, Mr. Phillips.
Go right
Good
ahead.
afternoon, Mr. Tete. How you doing?
Good afternoon, and thank you for calling me in. I'm doing great.
Yeah, welcome
Good
to
afternoon to the Liberian people.
welcome to Business Talk. This program is non-political, and for the matter of fact that we are discussing land issue, and you are clear with the responsibility. So we thought otherwise to reach out to you. We want to hear from the horse's mouth. Can you dread us through?
Thank you, and we really appreciate you and your team and the management of the station for reaching out. We hope we can have the opportunity to talk to our people, to educate our people concerning the land issue in Liberia, because it's cardinal and it's very important.
Okay.
So the Liberia Land Authority is doing great. Under the new leadership of Chairman Samuel F. Pacquiao, the chairman of the Liberia Land Authority.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. And the board of commissioners, the new board of commissioners of schools, is doing great. We are regularly reaching out to community. If you follow the news of recent, a joint collaborative effort with the EPA. We are inspecting wetland across Maserati and the environment, and subsequently we're going to continue to other counties across the country. But right now we're with Maserati and the surrounding, making sure that people building a wetland, unauthorized people building, filling of wetland should be put stop to immediately on the after inspection. The public need to know that if you want to utilize any wetland, the wetland belongs to the government. It's government land. If you want to utilize it, you have to apply to the Nigerian Land Authority and the EPA for inspection and for permit before you go ahead. Some of the wetlands, when you fill some of the wetland, the environmental impact affect other communities. Some of the wetland has species that need to be protected for our own good. So the public need to know that, and it is not for joke. The both institutions are very keen to that. You will see in the next couple of months some structures being placed in wetland that have negative impact on the community will be broken down. The two institution heads are very keen to that. So our people need to be aware. There's no harm in coming to the Liberia Land Authority to find out that this is the location of the wetland. I want to utilize it, whatever you want to use it for. And we have a team that will go there and inspect it and make sure that it's in a good condition for whatever purpose you want to use it. You get a permit, go to EBA. EBA is responsible for the environmental aspect. And after all the due diligence, you can be given permit to go ahead. So we are very vigorous on that. And also, the Liberian Land Authority is currently working on curtailing some of the land issues right now, the too many land conflict. In a month time, we'll be launching a new D form. That D form comes with a lot of different security features, and it's going to be sold by the Liberian Land Authority across the 15 counties. And after that process, when the D form is launched, when you purchase the D form before even you conduct a survey, it's going to go along with the survey permit. And when you purchase the D form, thereafter you have to bring it back. The system, it's a system, a GIS system that is already set up by the Liberia Land Authority, and they're going to go through the system. Anybody going to conduct a survey on the same plot, and you bring that D, there will be overlap, so there will be a line. So those processes are the different instruments being introduced now to curtail the double sales of land. Criminal they sue, selling land more than one time. One plot of land is sold to more than 4-5 persons. We're trying to reduce that. So those are some of the measures we are currently putting into place.
Okay. Mr. Phillips, you want to come in with some questions?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Tete. Thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you. Welcome to Business Talk. Thank you for your first appearance, and I hope that you will not be a stranger to our show. Land purchase, land investment by Liberians in the diaspora is something that is very, very important. And as you rightly mentioned, new leadership at the Liberian Land Authority, the LLA, compliments to those people. New appointments on the Board of Commissioners, compliments, congratulations on their new appointment. And like you rightly said, you got a wetland issue. You work with the EPA on encroachment on wetlands, but I need your help on this because so many Liberians in the diaspora. You alluded to it in your initial comments here that land conflicts. I mean, I can't even imagine how burdened that department of your agency is, right? For conflict. I'm sure there are conflicts on land that's coming in every day and how that investigation is going forth and so on, and how you guys are dealing with that. But there's so many Liberians in the diaspora. Okay, there's so many Liberians in the diaspora that are looking to buy land. I started talking about it before you came on the show. I mean, from California to New York, from Texas to Canada, Liberians are looking to retire home, come home. You're very aware. And most of them are being taken advantage of because they're buying land from the relative or someone that they believe that they know that's working in their best interest in Liberia. And this person is now dealing with somebody on the other side, like Rufus said earlier. The topic is double dealing in land purchase. The land has already been sold, but then somebody is working in the middle. They're trying to resell the land to somebody else, and that brings about a conflict. What advice, what suggestion, what recommendation, what path do you have to offer to educate Liberians in the U.S. on what they need to do, what they should do, and what are they supposed to do to go about doing this in the right way? Over to you.
Thank you. So, the Liberian Land Authority manages public land. We do not sell private land, but we are advising the diaspora Liberians. When you are in Liberia and you want to transact a land business, what you first need to do, and we are saying, please come to the Liberian Land Authority so we can guide you the step-by-step procedure in acquiring a land.
Okay.
Whether you are buying from a single owner who is transferring to you, or you are buying from an estate, what are the procedures and the document you need to ask the owner of the land, and you need to bring for verification. We need to check into the system whether the deeds, the mother deeds, are genuine or legit. We need to check whether the letter of administration is legit and it is current. We need to verify whether the code degree of sale is legit and current. And after all the such, then we can give you the okay. Go ahead, the land is legit. You can go and buy the land. Because let me say this: there are estates that have mother deed and they got 150 acres on that deed, and they've been selling. They will not tell you that they have sold all of the land, but they will still tell you that, yeah, this is the letter of administration we have, the estate is there, the land are still available. And they were advising that, oh, the estate has its own surveyor. So we will survey for you at a lower cost. That's risk. You need a professional surveyor, a licensed surveyor, registered licensed surveyor by the licenses and survey board that we can recommend, and they will take you through We got something we call the reconnaissance survey. They conduct the reconnaissance survey to do fact finding verification and make sure that that land, it is the true information they are giving you. They also go in a community to do the history of the land to make sure that the property is legit. And thereafter, when we give you the go ahead, say go and purchase, and rest assured that you can have a reliance to go and purchase. Because the criminals are here, they are around, they're ready to grab the 10, 15,000 or $4,000, $5,000 for anybody, and they grab it and put it in the pocket, and they are gone. And you are left alone, and you're battling with somebody who have already purchased that land 5, 6 years ago. You go into court. You go to the court, the land cases are too many on the docket in the court. You go 4, 5 years and you after this case. And it is also good to pursue the case because the criminal conveyance law 2014 has different charges and fine, even for the surveyor who's going to conduct the survey on your behalf, and even you, your very self, who will purchase that land, and for some reason you know that maybe that land it doesn't belong to the seller, and you purchase it, you also have a penalty in a criminal conveyance law. You can go to jail for 5 years. The surveyor could go to jail for 10 years. The land seller could go to jail for 10 or 5 years, depending on the level of the fine. So we are saying the Liberian Land Authority is the best place to come. We are across the 15 counties. It is genuine. It is advisable that you reach out there, reach out to the Liberian Land Authority, talk to anybody at the Land Authority to take you to the right office. The Land Administration Department, the Land Use Management Department are there. They're going to guide you through the process because we have technicians that are trained to do that.
Very good. So there you have it, everyone. I just put the website up there. You can just go to Google. I just found it on Google when Rufus was talking. Just go to Google, look for and search for Liberia Land Authority, and their website will come up. Their telephone numbers will come up, and make sure you do your research, because one of the challenges, Mr. Tete, is that Liberians in the U.S., in the diaspora, be it U.S., Canada, Europe, wherever they are, they've been disconnected from Liberia for such a long time. And there's always this burning desire, this burning, wanting to come home to buy land, to acquire land. So I strongly suggest, recommend, and advise that let there be some number where Liberians in the diaspora can call, can go to your website, see it on the website. Liberia Diaspora Land Purchase Hotline. If you pick up the phone, you call that number. There's a designated person office who can handle those requests. If there are files or paperwork that they need to put up on, you guys can need to put up on your website to make that information easier for people to reach, to acquire, to get to. It will make it so much easier to minimize all the challenges. At the same time, do you guys, is there a list of surveyors? Because that is one of the other issues as well, Rufus, correct me if I'm wrong. Some people want to buy land and then they tell them, well, go and get a surveyor. So I think it is also important to speak on that. How, if somebody gets off the plane today, if I fly into Liberia today, my cousin meets me at the airport, I say, man, look, I need to, before I'm here for 2 or 3 weeks, and before I leave, I want to buy at least 1 or 2 acres, 4 lots or 8 lots. Where's the best place to buy it? Okay, man, let's go. Johnsonville is it's a nice place. It's opening up. Let's go to Johnsonville. They got plenty of land there. So what is the first step? And then on the issue of the surveyors, how can someone go to a website and find and see where all of the, like you just mentioned it, right? Rufus, correct me if I'm wrong. He mentioned that they are authorized, licensed, certified land surveyors. Where can someone go? Because again, people coming from the US, coming from the diaspora, the internet is everything for us. You get what I'm saying, Rufus? The internet is everything. Anything. I mean, when Rufus was talking about the Liberia Land Authority, I didn't ask him what is the website. I just went to Google, put in Liberia Land Authority. I saw your building, I saw your website, your telephone number, and I took it, copied, and I put it in the chat group. So if how can someone get that information? Go ahead. Survey.
So I want to talk about it. The survey, the authorized survey.
Very
so
good.
You
Very
see
good.
On our website and our Facebook page, we have a very active social media page, and more especially the Facebook page. You will see the list of registered surveyors, and that list is updated annually.
1 minute, Mr. Tete. What is the Facebook page of the Liberia Land Authority? Let me get it so I can put it up.
Liberia Land Authority.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Yes. So if you check on the Liberia Land Authority Facebook page, you'll see we publish the registered survey list of registered survey, and that list is updated annually. So the 2025 list you see, and you will see there, and our people need to be careful. So we have the registered lessons, private lesson surveyors, and we have government lesson surveyors on our scene list. And we have the D commissions. The D commissions come in different categories. The D commission, we got some of them that are dead, and you will see the year they died. And we got some that are out of country, and you see, then we have incapacitated ones, because the reason we provide those information, people might be using their surveyors lessons number and to do business, which is against the law. So we provided the information on that list for the public to be aware of that. So you can get on this anytime you check on our Facebook page and our website. And those numbers, we have numbers that are very active on our Facebook pages, on our social media pages, and also on our website. You call the numbers, you can interact with somebody from the Liberia Land Authority. If your case, the nature of the case cannot be solved, but then they would send you to the next office that will be able to handle your case. And I want to, and I take your advice, maybe some special number for the diaspora and Liberian to solve, to reach out to them to solve the problem, could be something that I will advance to management, senior management, that we can work on soon. And what do you do when you enter Liberia today? You want to purchase a land. I would say that reach out to the Liberia Land Authority first, because there are zones, there are land sellers that already we mark them, notorious or land sellers. You are not to sell land in the Republic of Liberia if you are from this. If you are from this estate, some of those estates listed. Yeah, so we know them. When you reach out to the land authority, you say, "Oh, this family has a land in Johnsonville they're selling, and we know that they are on our blacklist." Who might call it? Then we say, "No, you can't do business with the person." So that list also established. Yeah, we're coming up with a revised copy, because some of them have some problem, and along the line they go and solve the problem, and they regularize the status. So you drop them from the list, and new names are coming on the list. So every year we upgrade the list. In 2025, we're trying to upgrade. So you might find the 2023, 2024 somewhere on our website, on the social media page. So we're working on the update version of that. But the first thing you do, reach out to the Liberian Land Authority. If you might give it, our office is in Kakata, reach out to the Liberian Land Authority. Talk to somebody from there. Ask them, I want to pass on land, this location, here, these are. So the first thing the technician going to be asking you, what are those documents for the land? Have you asked the owner of the land for the mother deed? They want to verify, they want to look at the page number, they want to look at the volume number, they want to look at the year on that deed, they want to assess the deed. Just by looking at the deed, you can determine whether it's fake. And our people need to be aware of the certified copy. We got certified copy just floating around. People say, "Oh, my deed got missing," but we have a certified copy. Be aware of that. You need to bring those certified copies in the system. We'll put it to the system and look at it to determine whether it is original or should I say legit. If it's legit, then you get the pieces of advice on the land authority and the guardian.
Very good. So to everyone listening in the diaspora. So we would take up Mr. Tete's recommendation here. He's going to get to his management team in the new week. I mean, again, Mr. Tete, thank you so much for making yourself available to come on the show to educate, to enlighten, bring understanding to this very, very key issue. I mean, if we open the telephone lines for people in the diaspora to just talk about their land horror stories, we will never get off this show today. They will continue talking about all of their problems and mistakes and money that they lost all the way to the end of this year, because the list just goes on. So I strongly recommend whatever information. I mean, there's a diaspora number, diaspora land purchase, even if it's a billboard on the Robertsfield Highway, a billboard at the Roberts International Airport, because most people coming off the plane, I'm just being very honest, Rufus, correct me if I'm wrong, most people coming off the plane, that's their number one thing they're coming back to Liberia to do in those 2 weeks. They've probably been, doing preliminary discussions on the phone, using WhatsApp for pictures to see where the land is, so forth and so on. And they're probably just coming home to consummate, to finalize, to close the deal. So, and that's where the problem is, because, people are taking advantage of the fact that the man's only home for 2 weeks. So let's push him because he can't stay away from his job for long. So we get him money, we disappear, and we leave him with the problem. So is there anything else like the list of the survey, the list of the survey, that's a very, very important list. Everyone, please go to the website, https:// liberialandauthority.gov.lr, or just simple go to Google and just search for Liberia Land Authority, and the website will come up. Go on there, the telephone numbers are there. Call them, ask the right questions, get yourself educated before you lose your money. The next thing, Mr. Tete.
Mr. Philip, there's another thing, Mr. Tete. In the purchase of land, we found out that people, Liberians, are also fronting for foreigners in the purchase of land.
Very good point. Yes.
In the purchase of land, we have Liberians, because foreigners don't own land in the country.
Exactly.
So we have Liberians who are fronting for foreigners for the purchase of land. Can you tell us what are some of the policies or laws that you have on the books that prevent these kinds of things?
So when you read the Land Rights Act of 2018, it clearly tells you who can own land in Liberia. Liberians can own land in Liberia. A foreigner cannot own land in Liberia. They can lease, or for some purpose, maybe for development purpose, then the government through the Liberia Land Authority can issue them development grantees. And those development grantee could be revoked when the land is no more used for its eternal purpose. But foreigner cannot own land in Liberia. And I tell you, right, if Liberians are fronting to purchase a land for foreigner, the law will not know, but you cannot register it in that foreigner name. So the land, they might buy it and register it in their own name. So you cannot just control that at a certain level, and there's no policy, no punishment for that, as far as the land authority is concerned. Except maybe in the future, other regulation could be developed. But what I want to also say that I will provide a copy of the Criminal Conveyance Law of 2014 for your station, and also the brother to have it in soft copy in the chat room. I will also provide a copy of the Liberia Land Authority Act of 2016 and the Land Rights Act of 2018. Soft copy, so that you can publish it there and people can read. Our people in the diaspora can read and acquaint themselves with the laws governing land in Liberia. It is good that you acquaint yourself with this information. When you come back to the country, you will know where to start from. I will also provide the soft copy of the registered surveyor list and send it to to this. If this number is on WhatsApp, I could just transfer everything to the WhatsApp. Or if we have an email address that will be provided, I can send everything there. We
Okay.
also have it on our website. You can go to our website. You see somewhere download. You will see all the other policies and guidelines and laws surrounding land in the Republic of Liberia. We have them there, but I can make it very easy to get transferred into you.
Okay, Mr. Tete. Another thing, my concern here, because we see these things happening around here, it becomes so confusing, and people who are not reading the law, who are not acquainted with the law, they get things mixed up and they misinform people. That's where misinformation and disinformation comes in. That's why we, as media practitioners, we reach out to you whenever the need arises, so that our people get educated. Now, the issue of a woman who got married to a man, and for some reason this man passed. My question here: can a woman have right over the late husband land?
Is she married? If she was married to the man?
Yeah, married.
Yeah, so she has rights. She has 50% right, and the children have 50% right. But again, we got different level of marriages in our sector, and that's a whole topic. So every week we happy on the show every week, and we can talk about it in brief.
Oh yeah, we can create a partnership where your institution, your institution, we have an hour here.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I agree. We can develop the partnerships. It's just right now, budgetary wise, we are constrained. We're talking to our partners. To have somebody radio program for us. We hope that we can go through with them, because we need to always talk about these land issues so our people can know it. We are hopeful that even we're trying to reduce the land rights and the land authority, part of the land authority, other instruments on land into a teachable stand. We can introduce it working with the Ministry of Education, so we can introduce it in a civics, in a curriculum of Liberia, maybe in a civics subject civics. So our children can start to read through them while they're growing or while they are in school, because the issue of land, every Liberian has issue of land. If not you directly, some relative of yours has issue of land. So it's very important. And the essence why the land functions were taken for all other land ministry and agency, and to establish the Liberian Land Authority. The research say that if we are not careful, we might go to another civil war, and this time will be because of land conflict. So that's why we always want to make ourselves available, and we are willing to talk about it and create the awareness.
We also hear around us, Mr. Philip, lastly.
Go right ahead.
We also hear around here that government landed. So my question here is, which land is government land?
So there are 4 categories of land provided by the Land Rights Act. Before the Land Rights Act was passed in 2018, we had just 2 categories of land. It was private and government land, and people call it some private public land. But the Land Rights Act put the land in 4 categories. So the private land, and that private land is that land owned by a private citizen or a private individual. Then we had the customary land. The customary land is that land, the community land where our people live on year in decades. They farm on in the rural area, and they are live on for 10, 50, 60 years. That is the customary land. It's owned by the community. It's owned by clan. It's owned by the district, or you might say a whole community. Then we have the public land. The public land, so let me talk about the government land. So the government land is the land that owned by government institution. For example, the Liberian Land Authority owns a parcel of land that they have the headquarters on and the surrounding. The stadium, the market ground,
the hospital.
The land owned by government, resident. The land owned by government institution, that's government land. So the land that is not government land, is not private land, it's not customary land, it becomes public land. So for example, the law says that in customary land community, when the formalization process is owned by them, the law said the land is owned by the customary people. For you, before 50 years from the day the law was passed, you cannot sell it as a community. You can lease it, you can rent it, but you cannot sell it. And when you're doing the formalization process of that land to own a deed for the community land, you have to set 10% aside for public land. And our public land is managed by the government, the Liberia Land Authority, through the Liberia Land Authority for future development, for future, future development, like I said. So those are the 4 categories of land.
Now, this issue of land is so big. We, like you said, we can take it segment by segment, but we just try to summarize and get some major frequent questions that are being asked by people that are not in the know of what is unfolding and is becoming a very serious thing for us. Here is a person who purchased a land long ago. After purchasing the land, you went through the process of probating the land, but you have the probate document with you, but you have not gone to the CNDR to actually put in the archive or copy of your land. So can you clear our doubts on when you finish purchasing your land? What are the procedures? Are you to take a copy of your deed to the archive for safekeeping, or you can just forget about the archive business and keep your stuff in your house?
Thank you. So since 2016, since after 2016, no Liberian, and thank you for that question, no Liberian should take the deed to the archive for registration. So the land registry that was with the archive in the past, that part of the law was repealed. That functions is now with the Liberia Land Authority. So land registration, deregistration is with the Liberia Land Authority. Registration of code degree of sale, registration of letter of administration, and all other land-related legal document is with the Liberia Land Authority. The law now says that when the Liberia Land Authority register your land and put the deed into the archive in the system at the Liberia Land Authority, 10 years after, we transfer it to the archive just for keeping purpose. So the land authority has the legitimate right to register land deeds, no more to the archive. And we're putting up billboards, maybe in the next 2 weeks, putting a lot of billboards to educate our people, because a lot of people say making a mistake going back to the archive. And so this is back to your question. When you register your deed, so the law says when you purchase a land, you have between 90 days to 1 year to 1 year. You have 1 year to register and to probate and register that deed before this deed. That paper is just a transaction of the land in your hand. It's not a deed. Until you take it to the probate court, and the probate court probate it, and you bring it to the Liberia Land Authority, and we register it and put it into the system. During that registration period, that's why we develop what we call the page and volume number. Then it is in our system, then you have a deed. If you do not do that, and you go beyond that, after that,
you don't have a deed.
Tax on your land. Annually, you need to pay taxes to the Liberia Revenue Authority on your land. You go there, they will tell you, I think it's some 4.5 or 4% of the cost you bought the land. That's the annual tax. I mean, I'm not too sure about that, but you can check on it with the Revenue Authority. They're responsible for that. So then that's why we say you register your deed, probate, you register your deed, and keep current record of your land. Yeah. So that's it. So if you do not register it, you still have not completed the process of that document, of that lien.
Yeah, so Mr. Tete, thank you so much, Rufus. Very good point. You know what you just laid out, that those chronological steps. I think my suggestion, recommendation, and advice and suggestion to you and your team, put that in a document so that people can know that step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 3 is this, step 4 is this, so that as they're going through the process, they can check off and make sure that everything is now done. You get my point. And then put a telephone number on there where when you get stuck on this process, call this number. Because I mean, most Liberia right now, I don't know whether many people are aware, but I'm sure that many of the folks in the diaspora are aware that Liberia is a hotspot. What do I mean by that? Liberia is a hotspot for foreign investors. And the point that Rufus brought up, where Liberians are fronting for foreigners to buy land, this is a very, very important issue. It is a very important issue. If you did not know, but Liberia is a hotspot. West Africa is a hotspot. There's a lot of people who are a lot of expats, a lot of foreigners who are transitioning. They're moving from Asia. They're coming from Canada. They're coming from North America, South America. They're coming from the Middle East with all the turmoil and challenges. And they're all converging on this country called Liberia. Why? Because Liberia has the US dollar. Liberia has the US dollar. So naturally, people will want to come in, buy land. And when they come there, they meet the law that you so eloquently spoke about, that foreigners cannot buy or own. I mean, they cannot own land. They can only lease land. You get my point. Okay. So this is something that, that has to be dealt with in a very, very important way, because a foreigner would come, get someone for maybe $1,500. Rufus, correct me if I'm wrong. Put them in the front and say, "Look, I need you to go and buy this land for me. I will make the monies available and buy it in your name, and then I will buy it from you." You get my point. So all of those things have to be identified. They all have to be properly investigated. When somebody who shows up and economically he doesn't have the means, am I right, Rufus, to buy 1,000 acres. You're looking at the guy in the office and he doesn't even, from his shoes to his shirts to his watch, doesn't even reflect the person who's coming to buy 1,000 acres. That's a red flag. You get my point. And then the person so what's going to actually happen is land is wealth. Land is wealth, because when you own the land, if you look at Liberia today, you look at all the concessionaires, right? The concession that I take, they've got 50,000 acres, 100,000 acres on the concession. The amount of available land in Liberia is decreasing year after year. I don't know whether people understand this, because concessions are coming in, they're taking up big pieces of land. And then you have foreigners who are trying to bypass, manipulate, and find their way into acquire pieces of land. Also, our coastal area is prime real estate along our rivers. It's all prime real estate. Rufus, correct me if I'm wrong. It's all prime real estate. So the Liberian Land Authority is one of the most important, vital, strategic agencies that has a very awesome responsibility to oversee the greatest natural resource of this country, which is our land. Because outside of the human beings, the population, everything else is below what? Is below our feet. It's under the land. It's under the ground. So if we don't manage that land properly and effectively, then we will end up losing what we're supposed to own. So I'm speaking from the standpoint where Liberia, from the diaspora, they watch our show, they listen to our show a lot, and they all have these horror stories. So I'm just speaking on their behalf. I'm lobbying for them. Let the Liberian Land Authority have a designated number. You can assign someone to answer that number all the time, put it on the website, like, diaspora land purchase hotline, call, and then get the person information, send them an email on that step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 process. So when they get it, they can now check to see whether or not the person that they're dealing with in Liberia is on that black list. You get what I'm saying, Rufus? Maybe the person that maybe the land that they're trying to, the person that they're dealing with doesn't even know, or maybe they know that the person that they're buying the land from is on the black list of the land authority. But the person in the US doesn't even know. And most people in the US, I never even knew that the land authority was that organized to have a black list of surveyors and people who are manipulating using dead surveyors' information. I never knew this. So this is vital information that has to be made readily available so that the diasporans who are coming in with hard currency, a lot of money to buy land, will be able to testify that, look, my brother, don't go buy land. Contact this hotline with the Liberian Land Authority. Those guys helped me to make sure I could have lost my $10,000 buying my land through some crooked process, not knowing that the person I was dealing with was on a black list. So that's what I'm saying. So, look at it from that perspective, because this land, like Rufus said, this land issue, it's not a one-day show. You got to do this thing for almost a whole month. You see, because land issue, land buying, land purchases in Liberia is a problem. It is a problem. And thank you guys so much for all that you guys are doing. And so many Liberians in the US, they all believe I buy my land, I survey my land, I carry it to the archive. Here it is now. The archive doesn't have that responsibility anymore. You got to go to the Liberia Land Authority. Even the property I have,
Right.
we registered at the Brewer Town Hall. We had to go there and pay. Am I right? Had to do the registration at the Brewer Town Hall that has responsibility, like you rightly said. Also, what you had to go to Kakata for Magibi. Your office is where? It's in Kakata, which is the capital of the country. Exactly. So we have
our county offices in all the capital cities around Liberia.
That's exactly right. So again, this is very, very vital information to all of those in the diaspora. Rufus, let's open the phone line. Mr. Tete, if you want to stay on the line for a little bit, we can take some calls for people who want to call from abroad to ask you questions. Because, yes. Okay, Rufus, go ahead. You can set it up.
Okay. Those of you who are listening and have those questions that we haven't asked Mr. Tete at the moment, you can place your calls on 0887 105 105, 0778 665 At the local lines, you can call and be a part of the program Business Talk here on Love FM 105.1, and we are streaming on the internet, Love TV Live. For those of you in the diaspora, you can actually call us on WhatsApp on +231 886 962 999. Call us on our WhatsApp line +231 886 962 999. It's only intended for people that are in the diaspora. And for those of you that are right here in Liberia, you can call us on 0887 105 105 or 0778 665 073. Those are the numbers to participate. Call and ask those questions. We've asked questions that were actually on your mind to ask, but you have further questions so that Mr. Tete can in detail give you the answers that are required for you to move forward in the purchase of your land, or to go and rectify the errors you've made while you were purchasing your land. Because there are some people who have purchased the land and they took their deeds to the archive, and you heard for yourself that all proceedings should be done at the land authority. After 10 years, they will forward that document to the archive
to
for
the
safekeeping.
ICAP.
So you are not the
And
one to
it,
take the document there. Yeah,
and
go ahead, Mr.
if you're if you're in the US and you want to call the show directly, you can call me on my personal line. That's area code 346-546-4589. 346-546-4589. If you're in the US and you have any questions on buying land in Liberia, the right way, the proper way, we have Mr. Tete from the Liberia Land Authority on the show live today. Pick up the phone, call, ask the right questions. He will give you direct answers from the Liberian Land Authority. He is speaking on their behalf because he is in the employ of that Liberian Agency for Land Authorization. It's so important as a business person. You're looking to invest in Liberia. You're looking to buy land, whether it's in Banga, Ganta, Saniquile, Buchanan, whatever part of Liberia you want to buy that land. It's so important to get with the right agency, the Liberian Land Authority. Make sure you get in touch with Mr. Tete, who is on the show today. Ask the right questions. If you're buying your land and you're in a land conflict right now, you may not want to buy your land from the people who are on the blacklist. The Liberian Land Authority has a blacklist. Do we have a call there?
Hello, sir. I'm Mr. Johnson. I want to say thanks to Mr. Tete for the information provided. But I want to know the price for the public land per acre. I want to buy a public land and I've identified the area or I know the area. How much is it charged for or other procedure around the public land sale? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Tete, you listen?
Yeah, I'm taking note.
Okay. So just keep listening. Mr. Tete will take notes and respond to all of those questions that will be asked. 0778665073, 0887-105-105 are numbers to call and form part of the program Business Talk. We are looking at something very important to all of us. We noticed that there are double dealings in the sale of land in Liberia, and there is an authority with lots of information for us who want to purchase land and what are the procedures we can follow to get our land for the rightful purpose or from the rightful people. So call and ask those questions. Mr. Kwesti Tete, he's the director of communication and outreach there at the Liberia Land Authority. He's on the line with us talking about this whole land issue in our country. So get your calls coming through on 0887 105 105, 0778 665 073. And Mr. Tete, while we are with the calls, interestingly, there are people who are building on the alley in the waterways. What are some of the measures you've put in place to get these things under control? Because somebody will see the alley and just build, and at the end of the day, when government is carrying on some development, and it's I need to benefit too. I put my structure down here. Like what is about to happen at the overhead bridge? There are demolition exercises going on, and people are requesting to have compensation from government. So, what is your authority, your institution doing concerning people who build on the alley and public areas, and when these kinds of situation, these kinds of opportunity like development for the country, when demolition exercise is ongoing, then they request that they also be compensated.
And I say this to you. we are challenged logistic wise, and we the like I said, the functions that were transferred to the Liberian Authority, we still in the process of complete transfer from the Minister of Public Works used to be responsible for zoning and you know that deal with alleys and driveways and just name it. So that functions were also sent over to the Liberian Authority. Our institution is still working with the Minister of Public Works to see how we can transfer the zoning department complete. But as we speak, there's a zoning session at the Liberian Authority that is right now working hard to curtail those problems. We are challenged with logistics, like I said, but we are blessed. We are thankful for this government, President Joseph Boakai. We we are hopeful that during the recast of the budget, we will have a budget increment because the Liberian Authority is understaffed. We have logistic problem. If we should be fully functionals in the entire Republic of Liberia, we should have little over 1,000 employees. Right now, we got just little over 1,300 employees in the entire country because we have a very low budget, so we can employ logistics. We need cars. We need just name them because you going in the field, lane issue is a very serious matter. You go in the field with equipment to go and do piece of work, you can't be riding motorbike. So we're calling on the government to see reasons to increase the budget so that we can be fully and proactive because communities are developing, they are building, they will not take the consideration the alley, they're not taking the consideration. Everybody want to build, everybody want to construct. So the land authorities will also be everywhere and making sure that we do the land use planning of every community properly. It's one big department we have, but we need support. And I tell you, but as of now, yes, we are trying our best in our area. The land use planning department is trying. The zoning division is working on that and going in the field, but we are not up to where we're supposed to be. I tell you, and I like to be good fair on that.
Let me ask you this on that very point. One of the things we talk about here on this show every week is the role of technology, right? The role of technology. You bring up a very important point. Rufus, I want you to tell me if I'm wrong or I'm crazy or I'm not looking at this from the right point of view. Mr. Tete just talked about the fact that the agency is understaffed greatly. You have about 1,000 staff and vehicles and everything else. But the question to you, Mr. Tete, let's look at it from the standpoint. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Because even if you had 1,000 staff members with the Liberian Land Authority, that's a budget increase. That's a budget increase that will require taxes to be collected to cover that budget increase, right? You understand my point? Okay. But what role can technology play? Rufus was just talking about anybody who wants to call the show from abroad. They can contact use this smart, connect to the show to WhatsApp. Even you are using technology now. You are not at the studio, but virtually you are in the studio. I'm all the way 5,000 miles away in the US. My video is showing on Facebook. So we're actually using the technology today to convey information to the diaspora and Liberians all across the country. What role do you think technology can play in helping, supporting, assisting the Liberian Land Authority to be more effective and more efficient in executing their work across the different parts of Liberia? Okay, yeah.
And I tell you, that's a very good one. Technology will play a very key and important role. And just to say to you, and I'm about to talk about that. in few weeks right now, our team is working to put some of the major policies and guidelines into a mobile app where
Very good.
for the list of surveyors, where you could just download that mobile app for either Play Store or for iStore, and you have it on your phone. And if you want to verify any surveyor name, you can just click on the app and open it, and you can go and maybe find the name or put in the name. You can find the details of that surveyor and everything. So technology plays a major role. Quite recently, and through the Swedish government with a current project at the LIBERIA Authority sponsored by the Swedish government, we have a drone survey and mapping exercise now, and we're trying to work that out to introduce it in Liberia. So there are a lot that technology can do, even with the more sophisticated survey equipment that were purchased by the World Bank, for the Liberian Authority, that were purchased by the Swedish project for the Liberian Authority. They are also sophisticated. It's technology based. And so technology plays a major role, and we are open to maybe donors who can help to continue to expand for us in technology wise, or training for more employees of the Liberian Authority get more training. More especially for our communication department, we need more training in terms of technology. We are open to that. The land use and management department, the land administration department, we need training. We need to be go equipped. So technology will keep improving performance and to make your job much easier and going faster. And I agree with that. We are open to that.
You see, because I bring up a point. Every time I talk on this show about using the technology, I always bring up the DV program. The DV program carried out by the government of the U.S. through the U.S. Embassy, in different countries. And I can only speak about Liberia. The U.S. Embassy is not in Lofa, it's not in Plebo, it's not in Vonjama, it's not in Swedru. But guess what? Liberians in every political subdivision are able to play the DV using a smartphone, going to a cyber cafe, or the guys are sitting there and they're using the smartphone, take the picture, upload all the documents. Rufus, correct me if I'm wrong. And all of that information moves into the U.S. The USIS database, into the database in real time. And no representatives of the U.S. government over the DV program you don't even talk to them. But they're so effective and proficient in the use of technology that is also available to us Liberians. So so I'm just urging you that Liberians, that you're through your agency, look at this issue of technology, not so much from the donor perspective, but most of the surveyors have smartphones. Or say, hey, you know what? In order to be a surveyor of the ministry, of the Liberian Land Authority, to be registered, you must have a smartphone. Because some of the work that you have to do in the field, we need you to upload it from there in real time. You get my point. You follow what I'm saying? So that way you can set the barometer so that people who are coming into that career, they are tied into your system, and then information from your agency can be sent out not only by text but by email, so that people can receive it and act upon it. But depending on the human in the process, that's where you're open to more mistakes, more errors, and then so-called the big C word in Liberia, corruption, right, or manipulation. But when you use the technology and the technology moves the information, then you don't have the manipulation in the process. It's faster, it's easier, it's efficient, as opposed to sending somebody all the way to Banga. The information can be brought from Banga back to you guys in rapid time, in fast time, and more efficient. So I'm just saying, and then with the Liberians in the US, somebody might have to even using Zoom. Even correct me if I'm wrong, Rufus. Right now in the U.S., a lot of court cases, if you cannot get to the court, The court officer will send you a Zoom link and you can participate in your court case by Zoom. Why should somebody leave the U.S., pay $2,500 for a ticket, get to Monrovia, pay $100 a day for a hotel bill just to participate in a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour court case, when that can be done by Zoom using the technology? Is efficient, is effective.
Right.
All the documents can move back and forth by way of email to be signed, scanned, and emailed back. So, I mean, Rufus, correct me if I'm wrong in that. I mean, and you using the technology to settle land cases, I think it's very effective. Rufus, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's very important, because if that's what I always found at us who sits on the radio, and everything is being politicized, where we talk politics, and these are things that we should focus on as media practitioners, because our people are being misled and duped by the day, and we're not focusing on these things, but we are going the route of politics, and the important thing, we talk about technology. Right now, there are hundreds of people that are viewing and listening at the same time, that getting information that they did not know. Now that through the means of technology, the
Yep.
Facebook and that of our torrential frequency we have, they are getting simultaneously the basic information that is required of them to follow, so that they avoid the issue of problems in land purchase, or securing a land for themselves. So it's very important. Technology plays a very, very
A very
pivotal.
important role, Mr. Tete. I'll give you one for free. Let me give you this for free. Tell your director I give it to you guys for free. I can guarantee you, if you work with Love FM through their Facebook page, through your Facebook page, and you get a Zoom account, and you hold weekly or bi-weekly seminars, and you spread that information by way of Facebook and through Love FM, through all of their Facebook and through the different shows, you'll be surprised how many Liberians from the diaspora will log on to that Zoom meeting where you're presenting and you're talking about different parts of the process, the do's and the don'ts of buying land in Liberia. You will be so surprised on what the response will be. Because, just having a Zoom meeting education to Liberians on the blacklist, that's a 1 hour meeting. That's just a fixed cost for a Zoom account for 1 year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rufus. Tell me if I'm wrong. You'd be surprised. You will have people from the US, from Canada, from Europe, all logging on, because that is a very important issue. And once you get all of that information out to everyone, you will be surprised that you will have solved a major problem. And then the next week, you have another topic that you're discussing on Zoom through the Liberian Land Authority, and more people are also tuning into that. So that's the best way to reach Liberians in the diaspora, using available technology, be it StreamYard, be it the radio, be it Zoom, or even Google Meet, or whatever the case is. I think that would be something that you guys can do, and do very, on a low budget. And you will be able to get more of this vital information out into the diaspora across Liberia, because not everybody will show up, but people will be able to click it, watch it, and you can put it on your Facebook page as well. So using, consider the technology. Go ahead.
Let us not forget about the callers' concern.
I want to talk about that. Thank you. And today this program have brought a lot on the table for us. And I agree with you. It's worth looking at. We'll develop one concept paper on it, and see we can work that on. So I will talk to your team on the ground here. We'll see how we can collaborate on that. Or just to talk about the Mr. Johnson's question. And Mr. Johnson asked what's the cost of public land. So Mr. Johnson, if you're still listening, public land in Monrovia, in Cinco, would not be the same cost as public land in red light. Public land in red light would not be the same cost as public land in Johnsonville, Banga, Buchanan, Greenville, and on. So if you are seeing a public land somewhere and you have interest in it, the procedure is to come to the Liberia Land Authority and apply it. There's a division called the Public Land Vetting Division that in the Department of Land Use and Management, they are responsible for that. They will take the technicians there and take the equipment there to go do verification, do measurement and things that. Then they can vet and cost and give you the cost analysis of that public land. So I think that's the only way you can do. Got to come to the Liberia Land Authority and make that known to the Liberia Land Authority. You go through that division that responsible. They will send technician with you in the field to make sure that where you think is public land, whether it is true, it's a public land. Now some of the private land that you think that is a public land. Those are the technical details they want. If it is a public land, it has been marked for government use in as soon as possible time. If not, if it is there and they see they need you a citizen, yes, you can apply for that to buy it and we'll go through the procedure. Thank you. So I'd like to also say thanks to you, Rufus, you and your team. We appreciate our doors are open. We all will want to be on your show to participate, to give this basic information that our people need to help them, direct them how to go about doing the land transaction. I have another meeting coming on. I have to leave you. But any other question, until you can forward to me, we can have a time we can respond to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tete. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. This is very great information. And Rufus has my contact if you need my help on giving you guys any advice, suggestion. Next time we'll bring you on the show. We'll publicize it maybe 2 weeks ahead of time in the diaspora so that more people can come and bring you more questions. But I strongly advise, consider technology. Our best regards and greetings to you and your team and the leadership team there at the Liberia Land Authority. Thank you so much.
Oh, he's gone now. Okay, we fast approaching time. This conversation was very, very rewarding, Mr. Phillips. A lot of new things.
And again, that's why I had to bring up this issue of technology, because most times, a lot of Liberian agencies, departments, they forget the role that technology plays. I mean, so many cases today. I mean, you're in Texas and you cannot get to California. You're in Texas, you cannot get to Minnesota. You're even at work and you cannot get to court right within your own city. And the lawyer would say, hey, you know what we'll do? We'll send you a Zoom link. Please be in court. And they will swear you in right there on camera. And I mean, the clerk will, you click on the link, it'll bring you up on the big TV in the room, and everybody will be right there. The camera will be on you. You will be in the courtroom, and they will swear you in right there. You do everything right there. Your email is there. Whatever document, they will send it over to you. Send the document over to you. Give you 1 hour to get it signed and email it right back, and they'll file it. So if the technology works the same way on the same internet, then why can't we on the Liberia side use the same technology to make our processes efficient, productive, and more outreaching to both and bridge the gap between Liberians at home and Liberians abroad? So, and I'm happy that he saw the light and he would take it up and again, I mean, this is not something you need the EU, the World Bank, and USAID or whatever the case to come and give you support and assistance on. I mean, a Zoom account is free. A Zoom account is free. I mean, Zoom gives you 1 hour for free. If you pay extra, for your subscription, you can get unlimited time. So, I mean, and you can get 200, 300, or 400 people to participate in the Zoom meeting where, you're presenting on the, how to buy your land, how to register your deed in Liberia. And these are very critical issues. These are very critical points. Go ahead, Rufus.
Yeah, that's very important. Like you stress on it. Technology plays a pivotal role. We are in a digital age.
Yeah.
Everything is going digital. So even the radio station nowadays, people are transitioning from the analog to the digital
Mhm.
mix now. So as we move ahead, like you go to some of these governmental institutions, they're still doing manual things, and filing manually, where you can just pass on information through the digital means to the other institution and get basic information. Even in our schools, the education ministry also need to look at the issue of digital. We can synchronize all of the schools documentation, like if you are having students in this school, and student leave from one school to the other, so all of those who have failed and want to go to other schools to take different classes, your information already in the database,
Mhm.
and people can go and counter check as to whether you have made a successful pass in your previous school. So all these things will cut down the level of corruption. It will cut down the level of insincerity in our educational sector. It will cut down the level of insincerity in other sectors like the private sector. Because I want to know something about Mr. Alkina R. Phillips. All I need to do just Google his name. And everything that has to do with Mr. Phillips is up on the net. I get to know who he is, get to know where he stays, and all that kind of stuff, because he have provided the information and it's out there in the cloud. I only need to just go and get them from there. So if we can get these kinds of system in place in our governmental institution, in our private institution, it will definitely help us and move our country far ahead.
I think one of the challenges is, again, we last week we had I think it was, no, not last week, before last, or so we had Felix O. Lawrence on here with Signal ISP telecommunication company. He was talking about technology. This is something where I think if this leadership, this government wants to make a major impact in the lives of the folks, of the people of this country, in government, because the private corporations are already doing that. A lot of private companies are recognizing, they're understanding that I don't need to hire 10, 15, 20 more people. If I want to have salespeople, pushing my products across Monrovia, all I have to do, zoom the city, break it up into segments, give each person a smartphone, develop an app, and they can meet people, take their, put all of the information, upload it instantly, and it comes. So I think, using the technology effectively to produce transformational results is where I think Liberia needs to truly engage in, different branches of government, be it the private corporations or public corporation, I should say, or the agencies. And the Liberian Land Authority is certainly one of those agencies, if they truly invest in technology to bridge the gap between the diaspora Liberians and the processes of buying land, the do and the don'ts. I think they can truly produce transformational results because they've got a website, they got the telephone numbers, they have all of the information. But the folks in the diaspora and people across Liberia don't have that information. And so you cannot expect someone to leave from Plebo to drive all the way to Monrovia to pick up the forms. Let the person go to the website, download the form, fill in the form, and upload the form from right there and create an account. And that way it makes it easy where that person can receive all the documents by way of the email. And I think that's the best way to go. Technology plays a very important role. It's not about hiring more people. It's hiring smart people that can get more work done using the technology to be more efficient and more effective. What other new development is taking place in the business segment in Liberia there as we come towards the end of the show? What other big things are you hearing? I mean, I know that more Liberians are looking to travel home coming this summer. to invest, invest in Liberia in different segments. I hear that electricity is becoming more stable because it's rainy season now. The new leadership at LEC is doing some great things, making things more effective, more efficient. How are the businesses coping? Even your station, how are you guys coping? What are the new trends in the market? New products in the market, new things happening in the market. What are you hearing?
There are a lot of great things, specifically on the national scene. This an Echo 2025. A lot of people are getting registered to form part of it. That is also done. The former culture ambassador, Judy Andy, have oversight on that, getting
What is
people
that?
connected.
What is the echo? What is the echo? What is
So,
that?
I want to get the full nomenclature for that. Let me see. Let me get quickly.
While you're doing that, we will be doing a show coming up. I know Ava would chime into this. This is a big issue. This is a very big issue. If Liberians have not yet heard that the Trump administration, you can look this up on Google. Trump administration is now passing a bill that will put a 5% tax on remittances, on all money transfers, on outward remittances. In Donald Trump's big priority bill, there is a proposal for a 5% excess tax on remittance transfers that will cover millions of people, including those holding green cards and H-1B visas. Remittances are typically transferred from a well-meaning individual or family member to another individual or household. As per the World Bank, the movement of funds from the country of work back home is known as remittances. So this is a proposal and a provision proposed under the bill called the One Big Beautiful Bill states that the provision imposes a 5% excess tax on remittance transfers, which will be paid by the sender with respect to such transfers. Yes. The remittance shall be applied to any international remittance unless the transferor is a verified U.S. sender. And this is going to be a tax. So there's going to be a 5% tax on all remittance once that bill is passed. It hasn't yet passed, so it is not a bill yet. It is not yet law, but it's saying that it's going to be. The provision also provides a refundable tax credit for any excess taxes required to be paid by taxpayers with a valid Social Security number. Lastly, the provision also has an anti-conduit rule. So, yes, okay, this is the part I was getting to. The proposed levy will not be applicable to U.S. citizens. The bill says that the provision also creates an exemption for remittance transfer that are sent by verified U.S. citizens or nationals by way of qualified remittance transfers. So this means that anyone who is a U.S. citizen, you would not pay that tax. But if you're a green card holder or anything else, you're going to pay that 5% tax if you're sending a transfer from the U.S. back to Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Africa, Asia, Middle East, wherever. So that bill is being, you can Google it. Just Google 5%. Just put Trump 5% tax on remittance, and it will bring up the story. So this is a big thing that is being discussed now here in the U.S. It is a bill that is being debated and being considered in the U.S. Congress right now. So that is coming. So that means the cost of remittances is going to go up on this side and how is that going to affect the amount of remittance coming into Liberia? We had a show about this because remittance into Liberia is well over $800 million a year. So that is something that we all have to think about moving forward. Yeah, you were talking about the echo. What is
the Liberia Expo 2025 Osaka Japan. We say Liberia National Day is August 26, 2025. Liberia's pavilion at Expo 2025 Osaka will embody the theme Saving Lives, centered on the exhibition title Creativity, Innovation, Investment, and Gender Equity. As a rebranding gateway, the pavilion will showcase Liberia's strides in sustainable development goals and highlight its abundant natural resources and investment opportunities. Liberia will host investment, business, and women's forums, along with a tour of its sister city and human resource cities. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is leading Liberia's participation in Expo 2025 Osaka, Japan. So those that are in the tourism sector, those that are in the trade, arts and craft, culture, mining, agriculture, education, health, sanitation, and gender, they have the opportunity to form part of that activity. So Madam Judy Andy is actually spearheading that process, carrying on registration and other stuff like that. So musicians are also getting involved, doing the registration to form part of the activity there in Osaka, Japan.
Ah, okay. Well, that's good. I mean, anything that will help to expose Liberia as a place for investment, anything that will help to, educate, inform the general public about who we are, what we have to offer to foreign investors, especially coming from Asia. Liberia has a tremendous amount of opportunities. We have, a lot of Chinese investing in Liberia. We've got China Union, one of the big investments in Liberia as well. Japan, one of the big investments in Liberia for Japan is Bridgestone Firestone. I mean, that's why Bridgestone is not an American company. Bridgestone is a Japanese company. So going to Japan, that's a very important thing for Liberia. And I think Japan has a lot of new technologies that Liberia could benefit from. So I think that will be a very, very good thing. And I really do believe that we have a lot to offer. We do have a lot to offer. And that is something that we Liberians can look forward to and say, you know what? Our country is doing great things. So I wish them well on that. But this remittance thing is going to be a big issue. It's going to be a big issue. It's going to be a big issue. So it's a bill, it's not a law. So a bill is going to be debated, and I'm sure there will be a lot of congressional people across the U.S. in different districts that have a lot of immigrant population who are green card holders. And this is almost like pinpointing and, saying American citizen immigrants who have become American citizens will not be taxed at 5%. And then why are you exempting one group and punishing the other group? So this is going to be a big issue. It's going to be a big debate, but it is coming up. It is in the, you can see it on Facebook as well. I'm going to put the link on the show link so people can see it as well. Because again, like I said, this is a big issue. What do you think about that, Rufus? 5% tax on everyone who is a non-U.S. citizen or Liberian who is a resident green card holder in the U.S. who will be sending money home. If that bill is passed, yes, 5%. So if you're sending home that's 5% on top of your Western Union fee. That's 5% on top of your SendWave fee. So a lot of people send home money by SendWave. So SendWave, that's the app, is going to have to, figure out how to modify the app to verify that your, the social security number you have is indeed you are a U.S. citizen.
So it's also going to be another opportunity created for people who are already citizens and wanting to they can organize their own business So, for instance, if you, Mr. Philip, you are a citizen of the U.S., and there are others who are not citizens but wanting to send money to their family, they can use
Mhm.
yourself. They can use you as a
Mhm.
contact point. Right there, they have created a
Mhm.
job for you. They have
Mhm.
created a job. They have created a job for you because I want to send like money to my family back home. I'm not a citizen, and the cost attached is so high. So I just use a citizen, and
Mhm.
that citizen, if I'm to give 5%, I just give that person one, or just a handshake. That person can
Mhm.
send my money, and that would be another opportunity for somebody
It,
somewhere.
it, it is a very big issue. I'm telling you that this is going to be. In fact, I was just reading that the government of Mexico. I just put the link on the
I've seen that.
on the Facebook page. Yes, um, the government of Mexico has already started resisting that because a lot of Mexicans in the U.S., Mexico, big borders, Texas, or the U.S. in the South, and a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Central and South Americans are in the U.S. They're working, millions of them, and they send a lot of money home. So that means that and most of them are non-U.S. citizens. So that's a 5% tax on top of that. Just imagine. I mean,
It's just a means of discouraging people from taking money from the U.S. back to their respective countries. For me,
well,
that
I mean,
sounds.
it's not so much a discouraging people. I think when you look at it from the standpoint, right? The U.S. is facing a major deficit, financial deficit. So this administration is looking for every which way to plug that hole. So if you're looking to plug a hole in the budget, what you got to do, you got to be creative. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that this is something that has to be thought about. But even in the case of Liberia, let's look at Liberia right now, right? So USAID funding has been stopped. Reports are, estimates are, is anywhere between $50 to $80 million gap in our national budget. What do we do? How are we going? Where are we going to find money to fill that gap? Are we going to put a tax on every scratch car? Are we going to increase the gasoline tax? Are we going to put a tax on the LEC credits that people buy to recharge their electricity meter? The government's got to figure out, are we going to increase the import duties? Are we going to import? Are we going to put a tax on everything that we export to raise that 50 or $80 million to fill that budget gap? You're going to have to come up with creative ways, because if you don't do it, you're going to have to end up borrowing the money from the commercial banks. And if you don't have the means to pay that money back, then you're only creating more debt. So so you got to look and see where you can raise this money, but you're seeing this money going out every day, every week, every month, and every year. And you say, you know what, a 5% tax on this is the same thing with the tariffs. We're now, over the next 90 days, Trump and the Chinese, the U.S. and the Chinese have come to an agreement, 30% tariff on everything imported into the U.S. from China. What does that mean for American businesses? Okay. But what does that mean for the U.S.? What does it mean for the U.S. financial coffers? They're going to be, getting an increased 30% more revenue from all of the importation. And that importation is Amazon and Temu and Alibaba and everything that people buy, Walmart and everybody else that buy from China. But what they're going to put that 30% and pass it on to all the consumers. So to fill that gap. So it's the same thing everywhere. It's the same thing everywhere. So it's not, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but it's just a way of being creative and doing creative accounting and generating revenue for the budget and filling in your budget gap and trying to meet the needs of infrastructure development, paying for education, paying for different things. So what do you got? What do you have planned for the rest of the weekend, Rufus? Tomorrow is Sunday. Next week is another business week. Ava is out. This week is today. We're doing a lot of. This is our graduation season here on the U.S. side.
Okay.
Everybody,
Okay.
everybody graduating from high school, college, universities, a lot of graduations this week, this month, the month of May. This is when everything closes down. High school, elementary school, junior high school, even our youngest son, MOG, who was over there with you, he's going from elementary to junior high school this year. So his graduation is next week. A lot of people graduating from high school this week, college this week. So it's all graduation season. So next week we'll probably talk about this 5% remittance, and then what is it going to be? It's going to affect Liberia. It is going to affect Liberia because Liberians who are green card holders in the U.S. are going to have to pay an extra 5%. So what will that mean? What will that mean? So if people don't know about it, I just put the link to that story on the chat. Read it. It's a bill in the U.S. House of Representatives right now in the U.S. Congress being discussed, being talked about, and it's coming. It's coming. But I think it's being discussed, but I don't think it will make its way through because a lot of, Minnesota, for example, is a major Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center is a major immigrant community. Newark, New Jersey, Staten Island, New York, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, Baltimore, Maryland. Those are major immigrant communities across the U.S. And I think they're going to resist. I think the congressional people in those areas, representing those areas, are going to vote against that bill.
Wow.
So that's it from my side, man. A lot of things are changing. A lot of things are in flux. A lot of things are moving in different directions on this side. I mean, it's 30% tariff on everything from China. There's stories online right now. You can read that Walmart is about to increase prices on everything coming from China into Walmart stores. 30%. That's a lot. 30%. So that's a lot. And that's going to be held for 30 days. For 90 days. And then they will have another meeting to review it and see whether or not they will bring it lower or they will keep it at that place. Yep.
The word.
It's the only constant is change. The only constant is change. But you have a great day. Thanks to all of those who listened to the show today. Thank you, Mr. Tete from the Liberian Land Authority for joining the show. We look forward to hearing you, getting you back on the show here in the future. Rufus, thank you once again for broadcasting my voice across the area there. Thanks to all of those who are on Facebook, Jusu, Kakata, Rufus Delbo there around Brewerville, Abraham Colley, and Jackson Pone. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, John Kesse. Thank you to everybody who joined the show today, those who listen, the silent listeners. Thank you so much. We appreciate you as always. We always would love more callers, but I've been told by Rufus, who is the guru in this media business, if people don't call the show, that means you've answered all their questions. People call the show a lot when they haven't answered their question. But thank you so much to everyone. Rufus, back over to you.
Oh, okay. He's Mr. Alkin R. Phillips. Like he said, we had the Director of Communication and Outreach, Mr. Kwesi Tete, talking to us on the issue of land rights and the land authority own work as it relates to the oversight from their own angle. My name is Rufus Divine Carnet. Like I always say to you, there are two things in this life you always remember for: the problems you create and the problems you solve. And you must take responsibility of two things in your life: your fortune and that of your misfortune. In Union Strong Success is sure, with God above our rights to prove, we over or prevail. With hearts and hands our country cause defending, we meet the foe with valor unpretending. Have yourselves a wonderful and God bless day. Follow the rest of our broadcast.
Business talk in 1 hour 30 minutes
We provide listeners with up-to-date information and insights into various